This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Now in this lesson we are going to tell about excretion and homeostasis. And in previous lessons we learned that what is coordination, what is chemical coordination, and also we say that excretion is for also coordination. Why? Because in order to coordinate, in order to maintain our internal stability, we need to excrete something, we need to get rid of something. Why? Because during metabolic processes, we also, as a factory, we produce some waste material in all systems, you know, in schools, in factories, in many things, in all systems, living systems, also inorganic, we can say abiotic systems. There are also input, output, also waste, and then we need to excrete these waste materials to maintain homeostasis, internal stability. So dear friends, we have different organs to excrete something from our body. So the main excretory organ, we can say that we have kidneys. Okay, by using our kidneys, we excrete waste material from our organ, we remove waste products, and the process is called excretory system. And dear friends, you can see that in the homeostasis, we say that, for example, I said that there are some hormones by using these hormones, especially antidiuretic hormone, for example, we control our water stability. So it's mean that we need some amount of hormone in our body. If it is less than normal, again there will be a problem. If it is normal than higher than normal, again there will be a problem. So what we should do, we by using our antidiuretic hormone, we should control the amount of water which is reabsorbed by kidney. So we regulate this process by using our antidiuretic hormone. So in the internal environment, we see that we have 2/3 of our body is made of water. So water is very important in universal solvent in our body. So we say that we have internal cytoplasm-like structure. It is called blood. So it is a medium for all reactions. It is a transport organ also. So we say that our blood, but it is not only one and only organ that it functions for transporting some things from somewhere to somewhere. So we have also tissue fluid. What is tissue fluid? We say that we have, for example, freshness of our skin. So we have some elasticity in our body, in our skin, in our internal organs. So we say that all these freshness are coming from our fluid. So when we become aged, so when we got older and older, so what will become? We lose our tissue fluid, so we feel some wrinkles in our skin, on our faces. So actually aging is this, in fact. So we say that entrance of the water into the body and exit of water from the body should be equal. So now by this way we learn that what is balance, daily water balance. Can you see? By food we get such amount of water, by drinking that like that, cell respiration. So during the cell respiration, as you know, glucose plus oxygen is equal to, after the arrow we say that the product of cell respiration is carbon dioxide and water. We excrete carbon dioxide from our body by using our gas exchange system, by using our lungs, and then we also produce water, as you see, after the cell respiration system, and so we need to excrete this water from the body. So as you see, also in this process, we say that we get such amount of water, we produce such amount of water. Also, we need to excrete same amount of water by using exhaled air. How? In the exhaled air, you need that there is a water vapor. So when you exhale air to the glass or to your, for example, any glass of, for example, your car, you can feel that there is water vapor in your exhaled air. So the amount of water vapor is in the exhaled air, it is like that, 400 centimeter cube. And then we also sweaten, and then we excrete water by using sweat. Also, we go to the WC and we excrete such amount of water by urine. Also, in the feces, we excrete such amount of water, and you see balance is same. And then, dear friends, we need to know that we have in our urea, when we excrete, actually urea production is done by liver, but filtration of blood is done by kidneys. So in the blood, we say that the main nitrogenous waste, why we call that nitrogenous? Why? Because in this waste material there is nitrogen, and we have three main nutrients, as you know: protein, carbohydrate, and lipid. And you know that in carbohydrate and lipid there is no nitrogen. So if only in protein there is nitrogen. So nitrogenous waste is actually waste product of protein processes. So we need to excrete nitrogenous waste as a urea, but also we produce 0.4 amount unit ammonia, other nitrogenous waste. Also we excrete salt and potassium phosphate, we also excrete. So the main nitrogenous waste is in our body, it is urea. In birds, it is uric acid. In, for example, hydra, it is ammonia, and it is very poisonous. So, dear friends, we need to know that to our kidneys, actually in the circulatory system, you have learned it, there are some arteries, they carry blood to the kidneys, okay? They move artery, by using arteries, they move blood, they carry blood to the kidney, and the name of this artery is called renal artery, okay? Like pulmonary, it is called renal artery, renal vein. And renal artery carries to the kidney, and renal vein brings back blood from the kidney to the heart or to the other organs, okay? So in the kidney, it is like, how can I say, like sieve organ, and there is filtration is going on. After filtration, production waste product of filtration is urine, and we send this urine by using ureters to the urinary bladder, and then by using after the urinary bladder, by using urethra, we send waste material to the outside by using our excretory organs. So you need to know that, dear friends. So this one, we have two kidneys, and by renal artery it comes to the blood comes to the kidneys, and then after filtration it goes to ureter. By using two ureter, it goes to the waste material comes to the urinary bladder, and then after that it goes to the outside. And we have in this part, as you see, sphincter muscles, two sets of sphincter muscles. And keep in your mind that I want to remind you that sphincter muscles, also we can see these muscles in the digestive system. So sphincter muscles, also we said that it keeps stomach trees in the stomach. So in the top of the stomach, also in the down part of the stomach, there is sphincter muscles, and these sphincter muscles they actually close the mouth of pocket, we can say like that. Like a rope, we can keep these muscles and we can close this hole and we can open this hole. And so by these sphincter muscles we can control our excretion. Okay, when we want, if we are adult, when we want, we excrete urine to the outside. If we don't want, if we have problems, if we are especially, as you know, kids or very old people, because of nervous system or lack of nervous system, or because of their sphincter muscles are very weak, so they cannot control their urine excretion, so they can excrete unconsciously. So when you see this kidney structure, see what blood comes to here, and then in this part we need to know that this part is called cortex, and then this part is called medulla. Cortex and medulla, this is structural part of kidney. In the medulla there are actually, like alveoli of the lungs, there are unit of kidneys, and these units are called nephron. And by using these nephrons, we can filter the blood. Okay, so after filtration, we send, how can I say, clean blood to the pelvis, and then from the pelvis we send it to the ureter, and then from the ureter it goes to the urinary bladder, and then we excrete to the outside. So nephron is a unit of kidney. Okay, filtratory unit of kidney. So medulla is the part rich of nephron. Okay, and in the nephron, when we see the structure of nephrons, we can see that in this part there are large capillaries like alveoli, rich of capillaries. These capillary nodes are called glomerulus, and glomerulus are surrounded by nephron structure. It's called Bowman capsule. So in this part they are very close to each other, and there is large surface area, and in the medulla there are millions of nephron. So during this close relation, again because of diffusion, urine goes to the nephron, and then because here is a little bit high pressure, so because of this high pressure, blood enters to the Bowman capsule, and this Bowman capsule, this part is called coiled area C, this part is called loop of Henle, and then there is again coiled tubule. So in this part and in this part, reabsorption of blood is done by again this coiled structure. Okay, so during these processes, again beneficial material from the Bowman, from the nephron structure goes back to the blood, and then again filtration is going on, continuing like that. And then after that, so it's mean that large intestine, imagine in the digestive system, firstly amount of blood enters here, and then filtration is going on in this part, in this large surface area. Some amount of water maybe goes back to the blood, and waste material remains here, and then waste material comes and comes and comes, and then goes to the pelvis, and then ureter, and then urinary bladder, and then urethra, and then to the outside. That's the structure of this glomerulus and Bowman capsule. And you see that during this part, because from these holes also blood enters to the Bowman capsule's inner structure. And then after that there will be the absorption of water. Okay, so this part is called basement membrane. So it is also like sieve, it filtrates blood. Okay, so dear friends, we talked about these things, and then actually the main filtration is done by loop of Henle, and the name of whole structure is called nephron, and this part is called Bowman capsule, this part is called glomerulus, and from here to here filtration is continuing. And then after that we can say that, as I mentioned before, this hormone controls the reabsorption of water from loop of Henle to the capillaries, okay, back to the capillaries. So if there is antidiuretic hormone, so there will be less production of urine. If there is, how can I say, if there is not antidiuretic hormone, there will be higher urine production. Okay, so that is the summary of this excretion system. So also we need to know that we also have constant body temperature. Okay, so we say that we have endothermism. Term, it's mean that temperature, heat. Endothermic, it's mean that we can control our body constant body temperature. Okay, but exothermic, it's mean that our body temperature is depends from external temperature. Okay, like some reptilia. So dear friends, we have homeothermism. It's mean that we have internal body constant temperature. So for example, the body temperature of humans is kept steady at about 37 Celsius degree. So, but in different animals, it is not like that. Their body temperature can change at the effect of external body temperature. And dear friends, why we need, for example, constant body temperature? Why? Because also in the first chapter we learned that we have enzymes, and enzymes have optimum temperature. So they need optimum temperature to function properly. Otherwise, their active side is denaturing, so they cannot function, they cannot attach with substrate. So body temperature is very, very important. If there is a little bit problem, so they cannot function. So many metabolic reactions will slow down. Also, for example, in our body, if temperature is low, we shiver. So by this way, we try to increase our body temperature. Okay, all muscles shiver. Okay, so also our how can I say, capillaries, how can I say, a little bit becomes narrower, so blood goes inner part of our body. Okay, so in order to decrease loss of temperature, our capillaries become a little bit, there will be less amount of blood, so blood will be in the inner part of our body. So by this way we can feel a little bit bluish, or we can see that, for example, in our body, in our fingers, we can feel cold, and there will be a little bit pale structure. Why? Because we lose, in order to decrease loss of temperature. Okay, so also our skin is changing its shape in order to decrease loss of temperature. For example, the skin and temperature control, see, forming a tough outer layer able to resist mechanical damage, acting as a barrier to entry of pathogens, forming an impermeable surface preventing loss of water, acting as a sense organ for touch and temperature change, controlling the loss of heat through the body surface. Okay, so they have such function. So we say that, dear friends, in our body, outer epidermis consists of dead cells that stop water loss and protect the body against invasion by microorganisms such as bacteria. So our skin structure is like that. See, epidermis, hypodermis contains fatty tissue which insulates the body against heat loss and it stores energy. And then middle layer is dermis, contains many sensory receptors. It is also location of sweat glands and many small blood vessels as well as hair follicles. So these are important in our body temperature stability. So we also need to know that sweat gland also is exocrine gland, is not endocrine gland. Okay, they have a duct so they can excrete water, and we know that water has specific heat, higher specific heat, and by this way we also decrease our temperature. When we in the hot environment, by sweating, by excreting water, we cool down. Okay, we decrease our temperature. Okay. Secondly, hairs of the surface of the skin lie flat against skin surface. This happens because of the relaxation of tiny muscles called hair erector muscles attached to base of each hair. In cold conditions, these contract and hairs are pulled upright. So this changing of the hairs, like by using hair erector muscles, also they increase friction. So because of this friction, again, temperature will increase. Okay, so the hairs tap a layer of next to the skin, and since air is a poor conductor of heat, this acts as an insulation. In warm conditions, a thinner layer of trapped air means that more heat will be lost. Okay, so as I mentioned, vasodilation, for example, in cold environments, our capillaries, there will be less blood which are in the closer to the skin, but in hot places there will be vasodilation. Vessels will be dilated, but in this part vessels will be constricted to decrease heat loss. But to increase heat loss, these vessels dilate to expose to more air, so to excrete heat and also water. I mentioned water shivering, and then to sum up this lesson, we can say that we have kidney to excrete nitrogenous waste materials, and the structure is cortex, medulla. In the medulla there is lots of millions of nephrons. Nephron is made of glomerulus, Bowman capsule, coiled structures, tubules, and loop of Henle, and then the control of this urine production is regulated by antidiuretic hormone, and after that the kidney send urine to the ureter. After the ureter, urine is stored in the urinary bladder, and then by urethra we excrete to the outside, and after urinary bladder there is sphincter muscles that we can control our excretion process. Okay, thank you, see you later, take care.